Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare. So settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee.
You sure? It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee?
I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it.
Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to my home, welcome to the office, and welcome to the morning grind. It is fantastic to have you here this morning. There's a lot going on. We are going to be, as our main event here, going to be taking a look at Kings of War Vanguard. I've been enjoying this one. I think this is a pretty good one. I originally got it and had it sitting on the shelf as kind of a Mordheim replacement. And it seems to be doing that pretty well. We're going to take a look at the warband creation and things like that. Oh, I don't remember exactly how far we got last time. But basically, warband creation, I think there's something about magic in here. We're not going to take a look at all of the different scenarios and things, but we'll brief through them. Yeah, I don't think we got to magic. I think it's basically where we were. Special rules, terrain. Yeah, okay, so that's where we were. Yeah, we had just spoken about nerve tests. So, okay, let me put that in there. So, hi, everybody. So like I said, so that'll be our main dish for today, but I got a whole bunch of different things that are going on and different kinds of announcements and things like that about the Kickstarter, and then also new media that's being created. You may have seen that on the Discord server. So, good morning, Better with Bacon. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Sable. Good morning, BGD. Hello, welcome to everybody. Let's see. Okay, so what is going on? Okay, so let's bring this up over here. It's possible that this afternoon I'm going to distribute the digital version of the Cultist RPG. Hey, Robert, good morning. And that's because it might actually be live now on the here. What I'm going to do on Drive-Through RPG. I'm going to put that up so that people, if people are coming in, know we're about to talk about that. We're about to talk about Vanguard, so they'll be able to see it in the be able to see it here. But it's possible that this is live, and I want to be able to distribute a link to the Cultists digital edition here to everybody who is on the Kickstarter. But I had to like turn it live or something like that. There's a couple of things, and then but it never like gave me a notification or something. So as I was just going through, I'm still having a problem fighting with the physical copies. They got rejected again. The covers got rejected. So I've got to figure out what's going on here. That's one of my major priorities this afternoon, because I fixed them this week, and then resubmitted to them. And then I noticed last night that they'd been bounced again. So it has something to do. It keeps saying there are 2 barcodes on this cover. I'm like, there are 2 barcodes. There are not 2 barcodes on this cover. Well, the first time I went through it, and yes, underneath different layers, hidden down there was the original barcode that I'd copied over and brought over. So okay, I guess there was, but now but there shouldn't be this time. So I got to check the whole thing again and figure out what's going on so that I can order the proofs of the physical books. So that continues to be the hang up. I submitted, and then it takes them days to go through pre-media and then get it back to me, but I've done this before, so I'm not sure why everything is stopped up. But I haven't ever done a digital release before. So I was like, okay, how do I distribute this? Click this button, learning all these different things this time. And I never got a notification or anything like that, but I believe it might be live. So here, let me, because I was like, hey, wait a minute. It says, hey, it takes 1 to 3 days to process. Let's see here. And then all of a sudden, I guess it was up. And I know somebody said, see, this is the drive-through. So if you're on the Kickstarter and this is working, then this afternoon, I'd probably send out these links. I mean, why wait, right? So, but somebody else can verify that it's actually there. Because I noticed, wait, somebody even like posted a comment like, please add a preview. And I was like, oh, so I guess this is live or something like that. So maybe somebody must have seen it. But ordinarily there's a preview button, I believe, over here. But at the moment, I think I uploaded it with a preview. I didn't really intend it for it to, be public at the moment, because I was going to send out all the Kickstarter rewards. But I guess it is at the moment. We will see. And then if I get the preview up, then I'll send out the Kickstarter rewards, and then it'll be live. So anyway, so we're there. So that's going on there. Still struggling with the physical hard copies of the books because of the covers. I ordered all the stickers. The stickers have been ordered. So those, and I cannot believe it is already September 14th. I mean, this is already September 14th. September just started. I felt like I was in August forever. And then all of a sudden, like September just started and it's September 14th. I don't remember what's happened over the past 2 weeks. Kind of crazy. So let's see. Mike says it is definitely live and there is no preview. Okay. So I didn't okay. So I will check on the preview. I'm going to get it out to the Kickstarter backers first. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to see what's going on and see if I can get some kind of preview up there so that it's there. So, all right. So expect that this afternoon. What was I just talking about? Oh yeah, September. So the stickers are coming in. So they should be here. I think they were supposed to be here about mid-September, and all of a sudden here it is mid-September. So those will be coming in. The next thing is the shirts, and I was talking to a local printer. I wanted to use a local printer if I could, because it's a limited print run kind of thing, and I wanted to be able to inspect all the shirts. I sent the first wave of files expecting they would need to be adjusted. And I got to work on that this afternoon as well. I may send them also to another printer, though, also for a quote. So I was really hoping that the physical books would be ready, or be proofing by now, but they're not quite. So that's where we are. Shirts are the next big thing, and really, I think that's just about it as far as the different types of products. So if I can get the proofs approved, and then actually and then also get these a quote on the shirts, then that will be it. We're moving right along here, which I am quite happy about. Okay, excuse me. In other news, okay, so in the evenings, once I've done everything I can on the Cultists Kickstarter, I have been working on media for the Tales of Rabavania. So I'm going to go over there. So the next kind of thing after where I'm headed after the Cultists is the Tales of Rabavania. So I have been making shorts. I've been experimenting. I was using creating digital prototypes of what these guys are supposed to look like. And I've got some physical things over here to take a look at. And I am pretty happy with these. I made this one last night. Let's see. Probably I'm not sharing the audio here. Let me put the link over here. If you're not on the on the Tales of Rabavania YouTube, I'm posting this in multiple places. I'll put Rabavania YouTube. I guess that's a link right to the short. So there we go.
Faithless is he who says farewell when the road darkens. Faithless.
I really like this, Sir Merrick. I really like this, Sir Merrick. We'll talk about the different characters in just a moment. But I thought that was pretty cool. These are the line from Lord of the Rings. Sir Bors over here. Getting after this pot with this. Lord of the Rings. Bors over here. Getting after this pot with this. Why was I all of a sudden getting an echo? Am I still getting an echo? Why was I all of a sudden getting an echo? Okay, I may have nuked the problem. We'll see. See if it echoes in just a moment. I think I had the tab open. Okay, anyway, on someplace else, all of a sudden decided to start talking. So anyway, here is Sir Bors with his mace.
What weapon shatters raccoon skulls like eggshells? What can bring down the proud in a single blow? The mace.
So I've been doing like parts of the castle. This one was really tough with this the portcullis. I was thinking, hey, different like inspirational quotes, different things about different weapons. Like the axe here, we get after this plum with this axe.
This is the paw axe, short, cruel, and balanced for a single paw, yet strong enough to split the head of a raccoon marauder like a plum. This is the paw.
I'm loving it. I'm still getting the look down. I do love Wilfred here. He's got his the clover on here. Let's see. Oh, he's swinging the sword around. He is the master at arms in Castle Elmhearth.
This is the arming sword, a knight's constant companion, balanced for one paw, double-edged, and keen enough to split the hide of a raccoon barbarian. This is the.
So I am posting those over on YouTube. So the YouTube,
This is the portcullis.
Oh, so yeah, this one was funny. I spent forever trying to get this portcullis to work. I also tried to get Sir Jason his greatsword, but that was not working. This Sir Merrick looks really weird right here. In fact, he looks a little bit insane.
This is the port. Faithless is he. Honor it. This is the portcullis. The castle's iron.
Oh, come on.
This is the portcullis. The castle's iron teeth. When it drops, it will stop a raccoon army in its tracks.
Sir Merrick looks a bit insane there. I'm still working on his look. And his fur coloration isn't right. But then also, like, every time it did not understand the portcullis dropping. Every time the portcullis would drop, it would fall off its hinges and like fall down. It was kind of humorous. Like, this will stop a raccoon army in its tracks, and it falls down and breaks and falls onto the ground. It was pretty funny, but not exactly right. So just a slow lower in the background was all I could get. But Sir Merrick here, yeah, you look like you've gone insane. So his fur coloration isn't quite right. I'm also putting that over on TikTok. So if you are on TikTok, this is Rabavania TikTok. Rabavania TikTok. I am posting them over on Rabavania's Facebook as well as Reels. I don't know what kind of link that is, but maybe I can get a cleaner link. Facebook. And then also over on Instagram. Instagram has no idea what to do with any of my stuff. I mean, these have not gotten a tremendous amount of views anyway. But on Instagram, they're always like, oh, here's 7 views or something like that. So Instagram really doesn't know what to do with it. But if you are on Instagram and you would like to see some Rabavania, I will eventually put out, an email with all of these, the Rabavania social media links. But Rabavania is also on Instagram. So when I make it, that goes up on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook, and on Instagram. So that's what I'm covering right now. So that is what's going on there. So I hope you enjoy. I'm still working on them. I'm still working getting character references down, which I will talk about in just a moment. We're going to get into Vanguard in just 1 second. Let me take that down. But that's where we are on Kickstarter. That's where we are on new media production. Let's see. I'm going to have to work on the okay. Well, we can talk. I'll show these. We'll talk more about them later. Because I really like the look of the new rabbits. I had a long time ago, I had these prototypes made up for the rabbits, but I don't really like them. I learned a lot about prototyping stuffed animals or plush toys when these guys were done. He's a bit stiff, and he's not really cuddly, this guy right here. So he does look good. I said that I wanted to have somebody do the plushies, and so I was talking to the manufacturer, and they said, oh yeah, we can even prototype them for you. Just send your concept art over. And so I said, oh, you can prototype from my concept art? And they said, yeah. So I sent them over all the concept art that Adam Botsford had done. And then I ended up with these guys, which are pretty good. I mean, they do as far as looking like the concept art. But what I learned is that that was my concept art for like the entire series. Like, what are these guys supposed to look like as far as the series go? It wasn't a dedicated concept of a plush toy. It was a concept of the art and look of the Knights in general. And so they did a pretty reasonable job, I think, of creating the look of the Knights. But from the concept art that I gave them, got the tail too. Comes out of the surcoat. I like that. But it was not a plush toy. And so that's what I was trying to do with this other look. I was like, okay, so what I actually need to do is I need to actually give them the look of a plush toy. And so that's what I was working on, generating the character concepts. Here is a different Sir Merrick. Let me ask you what you think about this before we get going on the other again. Let me stop the sharing. So like here is I think, a much better concept. There we go. I like him a lot. Like this style. This style is clearly much more plush toy like, and so it's clearly the plush toy interpretation of the characters. And this is Sir Merrick. I think this is a better Sir Merrick. Sir Merrick canonically, and I never is a brown rabbit, at least according to the action figure prototypes right here. Sir Merrick is a brown rabbit. But he was not the color in that portcullis one that I had. So I think this reddish brown, light reddish brown, is a much better color, and it can matches the action figure as well. So I like that. And I think if I sent samples like this, like imagery, this to a plush toy manufacturer, they would be able to say, oh, okay, I get it now. I also like it because that guy sits down. He's capable of standing up because he's kind of sitting down, which is something that this guy can't do. You got to prop him up and things like that. So I like them to be able to stand up or sit down, whatever, stand on their own rather than, having to be propped on something. And it also happens to look a lot more like the original inspiration for Rabbivania, which is this toy right here. Like this was the original rabbit that I got when I'll take Miss Solo Me. Go up, not that. Come on, StreamYard. There we go. This was the original plush toy that the Tales of Rabbivania is based off of. I was given this by my aunt and godmother, I guessed when I was still in a crib or whatever. I mean, I've had this toy forever, this toy. And you can see he does, now he's kind of slumped over now with age, but he sits up because he's got this, sitting kind of base, which is what's replicated now over here with Merrick over there. And so this definitely, I also like the new style because it recalls the original inspiration for Rabbivania. So Mike says, yes, this is more cuddly and yet knight-like. So yeah, so cuddly is also, the stiff, the stiff arm, these kind of look like, okay, rigor mortis is set in. So that's what's going on. So I'm liking the direction that this is going. The Velveteen, I remember watching the Velveteen Rabbit. That was rough. That was a rough, that was a rough, and I don't know, I guess it's a book, right? But I remember watching the animated Velveteen Rabbit. Pretty rough. So that's what's going on and kind of the direction that I'm headed after the Cultist Kickstarter wraps up. So that's what's going on. So there is a lot going on over here. All right, let's get into, there we go. All right, finishing up the Kings of War Vanguard. Okay. So I think there isn't a whole lot, I don't think, to say about terrain. I think the terrain, kind of what you would expect here. Obstacles up to the height of the model cost 2 inches of movement to cross over, regardless of how fast the model is moving. Anything taller than the model will need to be climbed up and over. We did see climbing rules. Models standing at windows, treat them as obstacles for all purposes. Height of the terrain is important. I do like terrain. All right, let's take the height rules. Special rules. Some model spells and attacks may use a collection of abilities known as special rules. Each of these special rules is an exception to the normal rules. The most common are listed below. Rules unique to a model will be printed on its reference card. Oh, we didn't breathe and sip. Let's breathe and sip. I've got Cultist coffee this morning. Let's take 2 deep breaths. Let's do 2 deep inhales. Oh, Sable just realized that too. So let's take 2 deep breaths, deep inhales, complete exhales, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage. Let's go. Let's breathe. And sip. There we go. So I wonder if this includes like our psychology here. So like Sixth Sense, I was like, wait a minute, a model standing with this, a standing model with this rule attacked in melee in their rear arc may turn to face the attacker, which occurs before any melee attack is resolved. But yeah, this is a special rule. Some models may have Sixth Sense. Area of effect. Let's see. So area of effect rules for something like breath. So model X uses an attack with a 6-inch breath. Models A and B are both attacked. While model C is within the template, line of sight is blocked by a 4 height 4 wall, and so model C is not attacked. Terrain, a breath attack may be targeted at the same terrain height of the firing model is in, or one height either way, firing up or down a level. The attack will affect all of the models in the area of the breath. Other special rules. Okay, bloodlust, cavalry. What happens with the cavalry? Models with this rule receive +1 when making a melee attack against models of a lower height, including any terrain. They cannot climb, however, and will automatically fail if they attempt to climb down a surface. Headstrong, inspiring, Pathfinder. Pathfinders models with this rule treat any difficult terrain they move through as open ground, including in a charge. Piercing reduces armor saves. Regenerate, when a model of this rule activates for the first time around, roll a die. If the model is equal to or better than the N value, the model recovers 1 wound previously suffered in the game. So regenerate N+. Scout, smash, sneaky, steady, stubborn. Very inspiring. A model with this rule and all friendly models within 9 inches of it may re-roll their nerve tests. All right, how do we handle magic? Must be a spellcaster. All spells are ranged attacks using the cast action. Unless specified otherwise, normal line of sight, range targeting rules, and damage resolution apply. A spell will specify after its name if it takes a short or a long cast action to use. Unless specified otherwise, spells roll to attack using the range of the casting model. Range attack value, that is. A model may use the cast action more than once in its activation. However, a model may not cast the same spell more than once on a turn. The most common spells are listed on the following pages. Spells unique to models will be printed on their stat card. Typically, models will only be able to use a small number of spells as specified on their card. So this says boosted spell. Some spells can be boosted by special abilities by power directly, in addition to the normal action cost, or by taking a longer action. This will be detailed in the spell's description or on the special ability. Where a model has a special ability that can boost a spell, and the spell can be boosted itself. See, where a model has a special ability that can boost a spell, for example, extending the range, and the spell can be boosted itself. Oh, so the model's special ability can be use a power and then also the spell. It's possible to do both so long as the appropriate action is taken and the power spent. If a model is listed as having a spell, it automatically has access to the boosted version 2 where the spell has one. So basic spells include things like, okay, classic fireball, short. So that's not, I think that's not short range. I looked at that as like short range, and that's short casting action. Range 9 inches, 2d8. Boosted version can cast a long action instead to add the breath spell special rule for this casting. So how wide would that be? So like the model's base, using the width of the model's firing model's base, extend a rectangle out to the range of the attack. So that's one that can be boosted. So fireball, range 9, cast as a long action instead to add the breath special rule to the spell for this casting. Hammer. Heal. Heal can be controversial. I found when doing game design, because, okay, right up here, heal, I think, can be controversial because it extends the game. Like the first thing that, we were careful with that with Enchantress, because, something's out. What do? You heal. So you're doing damage to your opponent, but then they're getting it right back. If there's not some kind of limit to the number of healing spells that you can do, like you can always cast heal with power or something, that to me can get frustrating in a game fast. If so, there's an argument I think out there from a game design standpoint to not include healing spells in something like this, so that that puts a timer on the game. Like every turn that something, or every time something is damaged, we're having the wounds, the non-renewable resource dwindle, and that's moving the game along. If everything heals and there's no limit to the healing, then of course you're going to be healing, and you're just extending the game for potentially indefinitely. And then it also means that the healers have become the initial target. It also says, anything that also makes the target, like the gameplay, more standard was bad, because we realized when we were designing Enchantress that if we had these healing spells and also defensive spells, that the optimal strategy was always to target the healers first. So that took strategy out of the game, because, the first thing that's got to go down is the healers. Also, with the defensive spells, we drastically cut down defensive spells, because if you've got buff spells, then the very first thing you need to do, like from the best strategy, was to immediately have the casters that can cast buff spells buff all of your characters before they go into battle. So that meant that you weren't advancing and moving toward the enemy, right, on the first turns of the game. The first turn of the game is, I cast shield, I cast rock skin, whatever it was called. I cast this, and then the first rounds of the game were just buffing yourself. And then we were like, no, this doesn't work, because we want people to move into the game especially with a limited amount of time that you want the game. If the characters need to be buffed, then they could just come into the game buffed, if that's the best thing, the optimal opening way to play. So ultimately, a lot of those things got taken out. So we do have heal here. And I didn't see anything about mana. So the power seems like if you've got the spell, then you can just cast it on your turn as your cast action, of course. And then the power is only for like boosting it. So heal says short range 6. So it is only a range 6. Target a friendly model in range, but not the caster, even if it is engaged, and roll 3d8. For every 6+ rolled, the target recovers 1 wound previously suffered. A boosted version casts as a long action instead, as above, but for each 5+ rolled on this casting, the target recovers 1 wound previously suffered. Lightning bolt, long, range 12, 3d8, piercing 1, and marksman. What was marksman? Marksman is a model with this rule can re-roll any ones when making ranged attacks. So the lightning bolt, range 12, 3d8, piercing 1, marksman. Boosted version costs 2 power as above, but the attack gains area effect 2 inches. 2d8 special rule for this casting. So that's not breath. Let's see here. So if, for example, if an attack has area of effect 2 inches, 2d8 piercing 1, which sounds like lightning, all models, not just enemy ones, so all models within 2 inches of the original target would be attacked with 2d8, and any hits resolved with piercing 1. Roll for each model separately. So lightning bolt strikes, then like shatters or something. Spreads out. Mind storm. Line of sight not required. So here's shield. Here's a defensive spell. Shield cast on self. No die roll required. Caster gains the stealthy special rule and decreases its armor value by 1 until the end of the round. So not permanently. For instance, armor 5 becomes 5+ becomes armor 4+. Place a spell effect marker on the target as a reminder. Shield gains stealthy. Let's check that one. Stealthy. When making ranged attacks on a model with this rule, Attacking models suffer a -1 modifier when rolling for hit, including when casting spells. So that doesn't help you in melee, but it would increase your armor. One version, Mike says, one version is better against a single armored target, while the blast version is better against the group. Yeah, you're right, because the lightning bolt, just normal with marksman, range 12 inches is 3d8, but you do have an area of effect, but for only 2d8. So creating a warband selection. In order to restrict the possible nasty combinations that could be fielded and to make sure warbands have a semblance of realism about them, the following limitations are placed on the model classes and number that can make up a warband. You must take a minimum of 5 warriors and or grunt models and 1 command model. You may take up to 1 command, 1 support, and 1 spellcaster model for every 3 warrior and or grunt models you select. You may take up to 1 large model for every full 150 points in the warband. However, the first command model that is also large in the warband does not count against this limit. You may take up to 1 of each different type of model as defined on their cards. For every full 40 points in the warband, you may take up to 1 of each different type of model for every full 40 points in the warband. Thus, in a 200-point game, you can select a maximum of 5 of each type of model. Okay, so for instance, 5 Goblin Rabble, 5 Maul Beasts, etc. If a model has more than 1 class, support, and spellcaster, it counts as 1 of each for the purposes of selection within a warband. Models with a star after their name are unique named characters. Only 1 model with a star by its name may be taken in a war game. Models of 100 games for 100 points per side or less take a minimum of 2 warriors. You do not have to take a command model, but may take 1 if you wish. You may take a maximum of 1 large model. Okay, game scenarios. We're going to go through this pretty fast, I think. Supply, grab, light the beacon, free the princess, recover the plans, kill the bard. Kind of hard on the bard. The dragon's eggs, the power stones, capture the giant, oh, do all of them have a hook? Oh, yeah, they do. They were talking about using this in advance of a full Kings of War game. So every one of these scenarios has a hook. For instance, the dragon's egg. Kings of War hook. In their next game of Kings of War, the winning player may give 1 unit in their army the Breath 12 and Piercing 1 special rules. Or the Power Stones. The winning player may give the Heal 2 spell, good and neutral armies, or Lightning Bolt 2 for evil armies, to any unit in their army. If the unit already has the spell, its in value is increased by 2. For instance, Lightning Bolt 3 becomes Lightning Bolt 5. I was just flipping through here and I saw with this Capture the Giant here, the winning player may take a free giant unit in its next game of Kings of War, even if the army doesn't have one in its list. Use the unit entry from the Ogre Force list. However, the poor thing is a little wounded after its encounter with the warbands, and so starts the game with D8 damage. The giant is considered an ally, but doesn't count toward the points cost limit for any allied contingent in the army. Destroy the baggage train, burn the stores. So lots of different scenarios here. Secure the portal. Kill the commander. And then I think we get into the lore section. Neutral forces, forces of evil. Night Stalkers, Cosmic Horrors. This is about all the different warbands. So here's the warband list. Okay, Basilians. So, for instance, Warband special ability Iron Resolve. This ability may be used any number of times at any time a Basilian model suffers one or more hits. When the ability is used, the model can roll all armor saves at an unmodified 3+. Faction-specific spells include Blessed Light, long range, Divine Flame, long range. We've got things like Crossbowman, the Sisterhood Scout. So here's what they look like down here. Mike says, those are nice crossovers to the big army game. I wonder if you could weave these scenarios into a campaign for Vanguard only. Well, that's one of the things I wanted to look for, actually, because, okay, going over and making it influence the large battle game, that's one thing. But, to me, an important part of a warband game, at least as I would define it, is having your warband change, which actually I don't see a whole lot of that. Oh, there's campaigns. Okay, so we will see how that goes. So that's back there. So the Basilian, we got dwarves here. Dwarves up next. This is, I don't really like the positioning of my camera today. Dwarves. Elves. Elf warband. Kind of look high elvish. Northern Alliance. From the frozen wastes of the Winterlands, the Northern Alliance has carved out a fledgling empire, quite literally from the ice and rock of a bleak and unforgiving wilderness. Forces of nature. When the balance of the world is truly threatened, the Druids call upon all manners of creatures to protect it. From the vicious salamanders to the lumbering forest shamblers, all answer the call. The ground shakes and the forests heave as the forces of nature march to war. Centaur, Bray, Strider, Salamander. Okay, here we got the forces of nature right here. Naiad, Forest Shambler, Druid, Centaur Chief. Ogres. Ogres are mercenaries, happy to sell their skills to the highest bidder. Huge, powerful creatures that might almost have been purpose-bred for war. Few races can match them for their sheer belligerent power and endurance, and many a war has been won by the side that hired them most. That'd be fun to use some Hero Quest ogres for that. I got tons of Hero Quest ogres. Brave Ogre Warrior. What do we have? Oh, no. 40 millimeter, 23 points. I was like, why do I have two different point values? No, I don't have two different point values. I guess that's a 40 millimeter base. Red Goblin Rabble is on a 20 millimeter base, costs 7 points. That's speed, melee, range, armor, nerve, wounds, and height. Oh, goblins are height too. I guess they have to be because that would allow you to be you're one less height when you're falling down, right? Or falling down. Ogres are height 3. Siegebreaker, Boomer, Red Goblin, Bigot, Ogre Warlock, Ogre Captain. The Trident Realm. The kingdoms of the Trident Realms are proud and territorial and can commit to violence with little provocation. The lord of any land-bound territory would be wise to treat their inlets and coasts with caution. Otter Bevy. Fool. Okay, here we are. Here's some pictures. Let me take this down. What these guys are. These guys almost look like Deep One or Shahagan warriors or something. Naiad, Heart Piercer, River Guard, Thule, Mythian, Water Elemental, Abyssal Dwarves, twisted evil parodies of their mountain-dwelling brethren. The Abyssal Dwarves make use of slaves to bolster their numbers, and dark technologies to rain fire and destruction on their foes. Forces of the Abyss. The Abyss is a strange otherworld populated by wicked creatures locked in an eternal battle with each other. Whenever they are directed to fight outside the world, it's time to woe. It's a time of woe for all other civilized races. We've got imps here, lower abyssal. This might be a fun one to play. Flame Bearer, Abyssal Guard, Peliquin, Gargoyle, Succubus Lurker. Oh, the Empire of Dust. Oh, I like the undead. I've been trying to do an undead army for a long time. Never really gotten to do it. Like just classic Gothic, undead. Some of the models that I liked had returned for Old World. Don't know if I will have time to paint a whole bunch of miniatures. I'm feeling like I'm getting closer and closer to the time to get a printer. My nephews have a printer. They got given a printer, just the basic plastic one. I don't think it's anything particularly fancy, but they're having a good time with it. They're printing up different things. They'll print up, like they found places that will have like a little objects to play magic with. They start printing magic counters. I was like, hey guys, that was my recommendation. I was like, hey, you know how we got like no counters sitting over here and we're all, being ad hoc and we're playing magic? I bet you could find some magic counters to print. So they have been printing magic counters and little boxes to put them in, but then also like their spin down life die, like a dragon that sits there and holds the life die. So they've been printing like, all right. Getting closer and closer to time, I think. So Empire of Dust, the ancient empire punished for its hubris and fall. An ancient empire punished for its hubris and fall into chaos. Is that a sentence? An ancient empire punished for its hubris and fall into chaos. The people of the Ahumites are now a nightmare that haunt the parched, unforgiving land of the south. Stripped of their power and life by the Ophidians and cursed for all time, the Amaphite Empire wages a vengeful war on both the living and dead alike. So we've got skeletons here, skeleton archers. All right, I'm already in business. Skeletons and skeleton archers. What else do you need? Entomb. It says this is Entomb is a special rule. That's their warband special ability. During deployment, up to half of your warband's models rounded up with this special rule may be set aside and declared to be waiting in ambush under the ground. These entombed models can only arrive using the attack from above special ability. Any models that fail to arrive by the end of the game are casualties and killed. So here's how you use attack from above, but you're using them as entombed. Deathless Bond. Unlike a normal warband, an Empire of Dust warband is not broken once it has less than half of its models remaining. Back from the grave. When a warband is not broken, all standing undead models within 6 inches of a friendly command model, including grunts, that are reduced to 0, automatically get a down but not out result. So they're tough to take down. They've got a weakness spell and a sandstorm spell. Desert Swarm, Revenant. So this says grunt, warrior, grunt, grunt. Okay. But see, the also thing that's fun about like warband and skirmish games is you get to have more than one faction. I mean, when you're committing to doing something like Kings of War or your Old World, like Warhammer Fantasy Battles, you kind of got to pick one and stick with it. But if you only got to make a few models, although this is a rather large-looking warband right here. Maybe this is a picture of the army from from Kings of War. This looks like a lot of models. To me, anyway, for a skirmish game. But that's another advantage of skirmish games. Hey, why not have an Empire of Dust? Have the undead, and then go have the elf army, too. You can have 3 or 4 different ones, which I think is cool. Revenant, Enslaved Guardian, Sand Wraith, Revenant Champion. See, okay, he says that's a support guy. Oh, this guy, see, also gives you a power die. Look, I haven't looked here for power dice. So the Revenant Champion gives you a power die. Pharaoh's Champion also does actually a purple and a red power die. Okay. Goblins. I got goblins too. See, goblins are fun. We've got Goblin Rabble, 8 points. They can take spears. Spitter. Oh, that's like your, okay, that's equipment with a bow. Okay, I was like, okay, but that's the range. Yeah, right, exactly. When you only need a few models, you can stretch out a bit. And why not enjoy the whole range, right? And enjoy the whole range. A Lugget, okay, a warrior. That's a grunt. The rabble is a grunt. We talked. It said you could have so many grunt and warrior guys. So I'm not exactly sure what the difference is between warrior and grunt. Can I find that just really, really easy? Models with one or more of the following classes: grunt, warrior, support, command, spellcaster, and large. So okay, so yeah, your categories are grunt, warrior, support, command, spellcaster, and large. So there must be a difference between warrior and grunt. Maybe like what type of equipment they can have and things like that. Maybe troll, wizard, banget, and bigot again. Night Stalkers. These guys look cool. The Night Stalkers, the dreams, nightmares, fears, and horrors of mortals become manifest. This kind of looks like our, horror kinds of guys. Phantom, Scarecrow, horror. That could be a fun one to put together. Orcs live for war in a quite literal sense. So, I mean, every one of these has a special, a warband special ability that helps it stand out. So, Orklings, Axe, More Axe, Gore Rider, Great Axe, Troll, God Speaker. That's the spellcaster with Fireball and Mindstorm. Kludger, that's your commander. Oh, here's just undead. The dead do not rest easy in Mantica, for there are those who would use them as a macabre puppets to fill their own mortal ends. Skeletal foot troops and cavalry shamble forwards in a relentless tide, overwhelming any who stand in their path. This one could be, so this one's got ghoul, skeletal dog pack, revenant, zombie skeleton. Okay, I like this. I don't see just archer though. We do have wraith, werewolves. This is more classically gothic. If I were doing one, I might try that one. Okay, then equipment lists. So it does say, yeah, for playing in one-off games or for those playing in campaigns. When assembling a warband, the equipment has a point value and is paid for just like a model. Models may be equipped with two extra pieces of equipment in addition to what's already on their cards. Grunts may only be given one single common item. I thought that this was something, it has something to do with equipment, so I was right. So one of the differences is that grunts may only be given a single common item. Beasts may not be given any equipment. So a warrior would be able to be given more equipment. Spears, bandages. Oh, hey, Tony Mullins. Tony says, what is this? A new ambush sort of game? Does this mean 4th isn't happening this fall, winter? I am not sure what you mean. I have not been keeping up with it. This is an older game, Kings of War Vanguard. So this game has been on my shelf for a while. Like when was this published? Do we have a publication date here? Oh, I do not see a publication date at the front, but this has been out for a while. Maybe it's on the back. Oh, this says 2018. Yeah, so this game came out in 2018 by Mantic. Got it down here. Rare items. We do have healing herbs, battle potions, potion of haste, longbow. Unique items include like healing potion. We have roll D8 here. Items listed as single, campaign price 2 for each. 2 CG. The rolling a D8 must have something to do with the campaign. This does say campaign price 4 CG each. We have an advanced spell book here. In a one-off game, spellcasters can get access to advanced spells as follows. A spellcaster may swap one of its spells on its card for one of its faction-specific spells for free, or may purchase an additional spell for 10 points. Those of good alignment may learn the noble spells. In a campaign, they may learn one primordial spell. Evil learns corrupt spells and one primordial spell. Dazzle, deteriorate, blur. Brisk walk for primordial spells. Waterlogged, veiling fog, brisk walk, stone skin. Corrupt spells. Lure, shatter. Malevolence, possession, nightfall. Okay, so how let's see what you were supposed to do in a campaign. Yeah, because let's wrap this up today. Oh, there's actually quite a bit here. Well, I didn't know. Look at this. I had never heard of this. I just flipping by. Dungeon Saga. Has anybody played this? Exploring with Dungeon Saga. Mantic Games produces this extremely popular fantasy Dungeon Saga board game set in the same world as both Vanguard and Kings of War. Enterprising and imaginative campaign organizers and gaming groups may wish to take their narrative experience even further and replace some of the results in the table above with games of Dungeon Saga to determine what their warbands and heroes might discover. For example, results in the Dragon's Lair, Wizard's Tower, Abandoned Mine, and Hermit's Cave are all great locations that could be made into a saga adventure. So that one's like a Warhammer game. Like a Hero Quest game, or a Warhammer Quest game is where I was going. Maybe exploration. Okay, so this allows us to link individual games of Vanguard into larger narratives. Right. Vanguard Company is your overall force of models. Think of this as your extended base camp with all the resources you have collected. You will not have everything available at once, and this more accurately reflects the difficulties in maintaining logistics and supply lines from the midst of protracted campaigns. You will be able to tailor what you do have for specific missions. Supply Caravan. This is the collection of items and equipment gathered over the course of the campaign. Supplies are bought using campaign gold, see below, found on the battlefield, or recovered during forage and explore phases. The warband is the specific group of models you are taking on each scenario. Campaign gold is your currency. It represents a range of resources such as money collected, secrets found or stolen, and reputation or infamy. They are earned through winning games or exploring between games. Retinue. This is the name given to the core group of specialists and heroes that form the leadership team of your Vanguard company and warband. Having a retinue really helps develop your company and characters within it. Your retinue represents a variety of roles that can be assigned to your models that will offer them a chance to select unique abilities and receive experience for specific actions and progress. Okay, I don't really understand that completely. I thought that was like your leadership. But it's a series of roles. Company roster sheet. This is it. A company's inner circle of senior warriors is known as the retinue. Beyond assigning your leader of a Vanguard company who already forms part of the revenue, there are other roles that can be assigned to your most trusted, most liked, and feared soldiers. Some roles, like what are these roles? Full sets of roles available within a retinue are defined in detail on page 151. Okay. I mean, that's Mike says, is Dungeon Saga like Hero Quest? That's what I'm guessing. That's what it sounds like. 151. Company retinue. So here we go again. A retinue can be as few as one model representing a single leader role or up to 7 models representing the full set of possible specialist roles. It is up to each player to decide if they want a large, crack team of specialists offering a variety of honed abilities to manage, or a company with a small retinue that's supported by a large meat shield of lesser troops that require little bookkeeping and advancement. Okay, so roles include leader, okay, quartermaster, warrior models only. There's a restriction. If the model with the quartermaster role plays in a game and survives, wasn't removed as a casualty, add 2 to the step 1 forage and loot roll in the forage and explore phase. And other rules as well. The Arcanist, Spellcasters, the Mauler, large models only, Master Scout, models with the Scout rule only. In the scenario where Scout rules are permitted, if the model with the Master Scout is used in the game, after all models are placed, including those with Scout, the Master Scout can be redeployed anywhere on the table using the normal Scout rules. The Healer, the Hunter, more on combining Vanguard with Kings of War. Summary sheets. Company roster sheet. Starting a campaign. Before beginning your campaign, your group needs to make a few decisions around the kind of campaign you want to play. Campaigns can be as complex or as simple as the players prefer, with some groups making elaborate territory maps for armies and warbands to fight over, or branching narrative decision trees with an overarching plot that evolves as players win or lose games. Here's an example of a very simple campaign story tree for 2 players. It is one branching point that determines the following games that are played. The winner of game 1 chooses to be attacker or defender in game 2. The winner of game 2, or player A in a draw, is always the attacker for the following games that require one. Games 1 to 3 score the winner 1 campaign point. Game 4 scores 3 points. Okay, so some branching here with the different things, different games. Campaigns can be a series of Vanguard games only, or can mix Vanguard and Kings of War games, with some results influencing each other. Campaign organizer. Building your company. Enlist a Vanguard company. Restrictions on what can be inside. Let's see, experience and ranks. As games are played, individual models within your company earn experience points for completing deeds within each scenario played. Accumulating experience allows a model to increase in rank. Ranks are incremental scales that represent the skill and talent a model gains as they become more proficient, a more proficient soldier or seasoned veteran. Ranks usually accompanied by improvements to the model's base stats or gaining new rules and skills which can be added to their repertoire. Additionally, because a rank 1 model will be less effective on the battlefield than a rank 5 model, relative ranks are used to balance Vanguard warbands with different levels of experience against one another. More about this will be explained in the pre-game sequence on page 136, and resolving experience on page 141. How do you get campaign gold? Models of class Grunt will never gain experience. There's another difference. Models of class Grunt will never gain experience. Models of class Warrior can gain a maximum of 3 ranks. All other models can gain a maximum of 6 ranks. Like that. Pre-engagement. Determine scenario, muster a warband, the balance of war. Next, the players add up and compare their Vanguard warband ranks. This is simply the sum of all the ranks the model in each warband have reached between them, the rank total. The difference in the total of the 2 opposing warbands determines the number of underdog power dice that are awarded to the player with a lower rank total. Divide the difference in rank totals by 2 and round down the result. The player with the lower rank total receives that many red underdog power dice. This is an extra pool the player has available for the game and may be added to any roll for power dice made at the start of a round. A player must decide before rolling whether or not they will add any underdog dice to the pool, and they may only add a maximum of 3 to any given roll. Otherwise, dice are discarded once used. Mercenaries, engage. From time to time during the game, it may become obvious that you are fighting a losing battle. In a campaign, it can be advantageous to cut your losses and run. At any point at the start of the player's turn, if 25% of their warband's model, rounding up, have been removed as casualties, that player may opt to concede victory, forfeit to their opponent. In doing so, they will still earn campaign gold for participating in a game, despite losing. May not earn campaign gold for completing any scenario objective. Carry out the post-engagement sequence as normal. Post-engagement says return. So our sequence of events here are return equipment to the supply caravan, resolve casualties, retinue assessment, resolve experience, calculate campaign gold, forage and explore phase, recruit and resupply phase, and then check roster is fully updated. Equipment marked used once per game is assumed to be recharged and reloaded. The casualty, so if any of your models are carrying items at the end of the game, add them back to your company's supplies. Okay. Resolve casualties. This is always a fun part. Any model of class Grunt that is removed from play as a casualty is considered killed outright and removed from the roster. Any other model class that was removed from play as a casualty during the course of the game may not, in fact, have perished. During the confusion of a skirmish, it's hard to tell exactly what injuries a model may have sustained. It's only afterwards, when the dust is cleared and comrades have been dragged away on a makeshift stretcher, that you are able to tell the true extent of the model's injuries. Models that end the game injured, with one or more wound markers on them, but not killed, or that left the battlefield due to other reasons such as fallback, are presumed to receive medical aid from their surviving comrades and be ready to fight again, fully recovered. Models removed from play as a casualty, however, may require more extensive medical treatment. In the midst of the campaign, a warband may be operating miles behind enemy lines, left to fend for themselves. For each model removed from the game, killed, roll D88 on the casualty table, opposite, and apply the result. If your warband contained one or more surviving models with the healer retinue roll at the end of the game, you may re-roll any result in the casualty table. So, all right. Casualties include such things as, I don't have D8 sitting around here. Severed sword arm. Well, that's not good. The model's melee stat is raised by 1. 4+ becomes 5+. This is a permanent injury. In addition, the model may no longer use a ranged weapon. If the same result is rolled again, the model must be retired from the company. Remove it from the roster. 2 severed arms doesn't work. 41 to 44 old wounds. The start of each game after a warband has been chosen, but before scenario deployment, roll D8 for this model. On a roll of 1, their old wounds have prevented them from taking part in this mission. The model is not replaced, and you may play the game without it. Slow recovery. The model survives, but will take time to fully recover. They must miss your next game and will be unavailable for selection. Impressive scars. The model gains some truly extraordinary scars and the legendary exploits to go with it. The scars are so impressive, the model gains the inspiring ability. If they already have inspiring, this has no further effect. The effect is permanent. Full recovery, 71 to 88, that's full recovery. 67 to 68 is survive against the odds. Left for dead on the battlefield, the model somehow makes it back to camp alone through enemy lines and wilderness. The model must miss your next game, but otherwise makes a full recovery. In addition, they gain 2 XP for the experience they have been through. 11 to 16 is dead. The model is actually dead. You bury them in a hastily made and unmarked grave. Remove them and their equipment from your roster. 17 to 22 is haunting nightmares. The wounds of combat run deeper than just physical. The model suffers +1 to their nerve stat. This is a permanent injury and may be gained multiple times up to a maximum of a nerve value 8+. Yes, rolling on your wound table. That's a part of a warband campaign game to me. Retinue assessment. In this phase, each company may perform 1 promotion and 1 demotion. You can demote your retinue, transferring the leader role, resolve experience. Each model in the company starts a campaign at rank 0 and can increase in rank up to 6. Individual models gain experience points according to the table below. Each model may only gain 1 experience in each category per game. Grunts cannot gain XP and never progress beyond rank 0. Warriors may gain XP but cannot advance beyond rank 3. Models participating in and surviving. Now, this is the thing you have to keep track of. Rolling on the table is always a bad deal, but that's what wounds are. Yeah. Well, but at least your characters get to roll on it. Grunts don't. Now, see, you do have to track. Looks like you have to track a lot of stuff, what they're doing. So this says, how do you get experience? Models participating in and surviving get +1 a game, get +1 XP. Model kills 1 or more enemy models in a game, +1 XP. A model plays in and survives, not removed as a casualty, a game against a warband of higher rank, +1 XP. In addition, if the leader model participates in and survives, not removes the casualties, 1 XP can given to any surviving member of the warband to represent battlefield commendation. Additionally, however, unique experience gains can be made by completing special retinue roll deeds. Advancing in rank. When a model has earned enough XP, they will increase in rank. Each increase in rank requires more XP to achieve than previous ones as shown below. Thus, it only costs 3 XP to move to rank 1, but a model must earn another 5 XP before it can move on to rank 2. Only advance 1 rank at a time. 6 is the max. A model may choose one of the following stat upgrades. Stats are improved by reducing the value and then making them easier to achieve on a die roll. Range boost, melee boost, nerve boost, wound boost. Only 1 upgrade per stat may ever be taken unless specifically stated otherwise. A model subsequently suffers a penalty to an upgraded stat. The stat may never be upgraded again. No stat can ever improve beyond 3+ or be worse than 8+. New special rules. I guess you gain new special rule by XP. Learning new spells. Calculating campaign gold. The number of campaign gold earned depends on what the player's result in the scenario that was played. Win 16, draw 12, lost 10. Forage and explore phase. Forage and loot, exploration. So forage, roll a d8. The result's the number of campaign gold you gain while exploring. Then step 2, exploration. Roll a second d8 and add it to the first to create a d88 total. If you rolled a 5 on the forage and the loot roll, you roll a 6. You now have a 56. So like exploration roll. All right, so what is that? Like abandoned mine. Roll a die for each type for the type of mine found. Slate mine, nothing of value. Coal mine, gain 1 campaign d8 campaign gold. A barren land. Abandoned hermit's cave. Gain 1 campaign gold for some minor supplies left by the previous owner. If you have a model with the hunter roll that was used in and survived the last game, they find a hidden jewel in the crack of the cave wall. Gain an additional 2 gold campaign coins. Recruitment and resupply phase. The downside to all of this is that there's a lot to be done that's not playing the game. And that's not done, there can be a lot that you can do when you're playing Magic alone. But that's like, getting your cards together, creating a new deck, seeing how these things work. Or the hobby side of things like this, like painting your miniatures, getting this. This seems like a lot of things that happens at the table, which was also true with Mordheim and things like that. That this is stuff that happens at the table where everybody's got to be sitting there and doing this, but it's not actually playing the game. Like, how long does it take? Company retinue, we took a look at that. Linking the games. There's our Vanguard campaign company roster right here. Summary sheet. There we go. All right. Well, all right. We got through it. So that is Vanguard Kings of War. I like that one. So we looked at 4 different skirmish games. We've been in a skirmish game kind of section here. So that wraps up Kings of War. All right. I'm going to go, probably take a shower, but then I'm going to start working on the Cultist Kickstarter again. You may get updates. If I can send out the digital copy of it, then I plan on doing that. So stand by. If you're on the Kickstarter campaign, you may be getting information this afternoon. So I will see everybody later. And hopefully see you Wednesday. Yeah, plan on seeing you again Wednesday on stream. Later, everybody.